Here's to the bacon, lettuce, tomato sandwich, the BLT. Crispy bacon, sliced fresh tomato, green leafy lettuce on a toasted piece of bread. Delicious. But I'm going to give you my take on it. Don't get me wrong, I love a good BLT sandwich. Heck, I grew up on them. We always had bacon, always had lettuce and tomatoes, there's always bread around. A quick, delicious fix. But sometimes the bacon is soggy, or the tomatoes aren't fresh, or the bread just isn't cutting it. That's why I want to show you my take from start to finish. I know this is a simple recipe, but I promise once you taste this one, ooh-wee, it's going to be the last one you're ever going to make. I can promise you that. But the first thing we need to do is knock out a little bit of prep. Sound good? Let's cook.
We are going to kick this recipe off with grating up some Asiago cheese. This is a softer Asiago that I'm using. It's a little bit creamier, but you can absolutely use a firmer Asiago. And in fact, some great supplements would be a Pecorino Romano or even a Parmesan cheese. I grated it right onto a piece of parchment paper. You could do a plate just so it's easy and it doesn't go everywhere. But set it to the side. Next, I've got some fresh basil leaves that I simply want to roll up. So stack them on each other, roll them forward or backward, and then you want to chiffonade those or thinly julienne just like this. Once it is to this consistency, and it's okay to use a little stem, no problem, simply set all that goodness to the side. And then I'm going to pull out that delicious aioli I made, which is essentially mayonnaise with a little bit of garlic and lemon juice. Definitely check out my homemade recipe. It's way better than anything that even comes out of the bottle. Now what I want to do is add that chiffonade basil and some of that grated Asiago cheese right to that aioli. And we are going to mix it together with a spoon. This stuff is absolutely addicting. Be sure to adjust any seasonings at the end with salt and pepper if you need to. But what I'm going to do in the meantime until I need it is going to pop it right in the refrigerator. And now let's talk about tomatoes for a second. All tomatoes are good for BLT. I've got some heirlooms, some vine ripes, some 5x6s are great, some yellows are great, green tomatoes are great, cherry tomatoes are even great. And if you're in the wintertime, Roma tomatoes would be fantastic. If you crave it in the winter, which I'm sure you do, use Romas. That's my best advice. So now what I'm going to do is thinly slice them. Now, I'm doing this because I'm using an assortment of tomatoes. If you're just using red tomatoes and you want a big old thick slice, absolutely have at it. But the reason I'm slicing it thin, again, is not just only because I'm using an assorted amount. I also am going to stack them up. So I don't want to have huge thick slices where I can't take a bite of the sandwich. So slice them thin if you plan on using a bunch of different tomatoes. And now for the lettuce. To me, the two best lettuces to use in a BLT is either green leaf or butterleaf. You could actually throw in red leaf lettuce too, and fine if you have iceberg. That's all you got, totally fine. But these two lettuces are my favorite. We're just going to pick off the leaves of lettuce just like this. I don't need too many, obviously. I'm only feeding myself for this recipe. And just go over to the sink and under cold water, going to give it a quick little rinse and turn it off, and then give it a little shake, get all that excess water off of there. And then what I usually like to do, very similar to the fresh herbs video that I did not too long ago, place it on some paper towels just to dry out. And now for the bacon, I've got quite a bit of thin smoked bacon that we are going to cook in the oven. But first,
now, I know I'm going to get some questions on this, so that's why I wanted to stop and say this about the bacon. You want that bacon to be really crisp on that sandwich. And the problem is when you use thick cut bacon, because I promise you, that's even where my head went. Why am I not using really thick cut bacon? Have you ever had really thick cut crispy bacon? It can get really hard really fast and be kind of hard to eat. But if I can stack thin layers of crispy bacon, it's going to be that much better. And that's why I did it. Now, if you don't like crispy bacon for some reason, yeah, you could use thick cut. Just cook it a little bit under so it's to your liking. But for me, it's all about that crisp bacon. Here's what we do next.
I only really like cooking bacon on sheet trays lined with parchment paper and in the oven. It browns them up perfectly. They lay flat. They don't crinkle up sometimes like they do when they're in a pan. We're just going to evenly spread them out. It's okay if they overlap a little bit. Bacon shrinks up. It loses quite a bit of size no matter what when you're cooking it. So if it's overlapped a little bit, absolutely no problem. But once all the bacon is on all of your sheet trays lined with parchment paper, we're going in the oven on 375 degrees. It's going to take in between 20 and 25 minutes. Again, we want these to be super crispy, not burnt, crispy. After that time, take them out of the oven. Let's have a look. Perfect. Perfectly crispy, my friends. This is exactly how I like it. But to ensure they stay crispy and crisp up even more, we are going to let any excess oil drain on some paper towels. And like I always say, don't you dare get rid of that bacon fat. Keep it, keep it, keep it. I'll strain this off a little later to get rid of any big bacon chunks, but this is going to be awesome in pie crust and other recipes. And for the bread, I love using sourdough or artisan bread for BLTs. It makes it that much better. Sure, if you've only got some thin slices of bread or some Texas toast, absolutely fine. I've got some great recipes for a camus flour bread or even a French boule, and of course have a sourdough bread recipe that if you want to go all in, my friends, definitely use that. So I sliced it pretty thick as you saw, but what I want to do now is brush it with some softened unsalted butter on each side, because what we want to do next is, of course, toast it up. You can do this under the broiler in the oven. I've got a cast iron skillet that's heated over low heat. This will toast very, very quickly. We're talking maybe a minute to 90 seconds on each side to get that nice brown toast on there. This looks absolutely fantastic. So flip it over. And then when we're done, just take the entire pan off. We're going to the countertop because it's almost time to plate this up.
Everything is finished. Smells amazing. I mean, come on. When does it not smell amazing when bacon is cooking? Just open up the doors and boom, the whole neighborhood is like, what is that? Of course it's bacon. And my friends, it's all about understanding these fundamental classic cooking techniques, even when it comes to bacon. Making sure you cook it in the oven so it's perfectly crisp, being able to save all that rendered bacon fat for another recipe, using the right tomatoes, the leaf lettuce, the bread, all of it together, so dang delicious. That's why when you put those into practice, all of your homemade food from scratch tastes better. It just does. You know what's in it. You made it. Of course, my favorite part, let's plate this up with a few extra ingredients in slow-mo.
So let's spread a good amount of Basil Asiago Aioli all over the tops of each slice of that toasted sourdough bread. Next, we're going to hit it with both lettuces. Why not? I've got them both. I'm going to use them both. You can obviously just use one or the other, but both, it's all good. And then all of those sliced tomatoes, those assorted tomatoes, load them up, my friends. Season it gently with salt and cracked black pepper. We want to make sure those tomatoes taste good. And then load it up with as much bacon as you'd like. I've got 6 crisp bacon strips on there. And then for a little kick, I like to add on some alfalfa sprouts. You could use other sprouts as well, just for a little flavor. Stack it on high, give it a little press just to mash it down, and then give it a slice. Let's have a look in the inside, and boom, look at all that goodness. And my oh my, check out this beauty.
You're lying to me, you're lying to yourself if you say this doesn't look good. It's absolutely fantastic. So if you learned something and you love this video, be sure to like and share it, and definitely check out this video right here. I made it for you all. You'll love it. We'll see you on there.
This won't be the last time.